Well, hello, beautiful people. So good to see you. I'm here today with a little alchemy update. For those of you who don't already know me, I'm Corinna Astor, and yes, I have been going by Tanya for all my life, and I have changed my name. Anyway, this is kind of a big deal. I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit, but really, I'm here for you. And so I want to share about the energies. I want to share some thoughts that I've been having. I want to share some ways to help you out. So I just put on some essential oils and I'm just sharing that because it's such an amazing tool to really ground or uplift you or console you or, help with even pain management sometimes, right? So just a little reminder that's another tool that we can always be using. And so we had Venus station from retrograde. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. And anyway, so, the good news is that Venus is going forward. However, when it stations, the planet becomes more pronounced. And I will tell you that I definitely have had some triggers come up. And so, what are Venus triggers like? So, Venus triggers are about our self love, our self value, our self worth. And this Venus, turning direct is in Leo. And so it can have to do with, feelings of being able to be courageous, being a leader, or maybe being playful and being that eternal child and just, that sweet, loving self that you want to be, right? So yeah, we're talking a lot about self-love, and honestly, I think everything comes back to self-love, right? And so definitely, I just want to invite you to, well, let's talk about a couple of things and unpack some things that have worked for me, and maybe it's something that will help you. But I am once again inside because we had a little storm come through, and with the internet and where my transits are sitting during this Mercury retrograde, I am getting a little bit affected by technology. And yeah, a storm just blew in, and I literally was out in the backyard in the garden, picking tomatoes and sunbathing, and it was really hot and wonderful. And I was just like, oh, I'm getting all this D3. I'm getting my feet were on the ground, the grass or the dirt or wherever I was at, and getting my good earthing, grounding in, just feeling just so grateful for the heat and enjoying this last of our late summer season here. And then literally within 20 minutes, this big old storm rolled in and it thundered, and then a bunch of rain started coming down. So, um, and I'm just bringing this up because, life and energies can change so quickly. I mean, it's just can happen a lot faster than in 20 minutes, right? We get a text and all of a sudden we hear some really bad news about somebody, or, we look in our bank account and we get really bad news. I know several people that have gone through some really hard things. I know uh, someone who had a very huge theft issue recently. I've heard of custody issues that are really hard. I know a couple of people that, a couple of friends of mine that had friends that committed suicide. So, I'm talking about these difficult things and how to mitigate and manage our triggers and these difficult energies because there's a lot coming up, and things are going to come up for all of us. We're going to have our days where we're not feeling good, and we're just going to deal with body pains and difficulties, and sometimes it's just that, okay, I'm bloated again from eating something, who knows what, which is super uncomfortable and frustrating. And maybe it's something that happens a little bit more often, and then we're also going to sometimes get hit with those bigger things where it's going to be like knocks us off our feet, and it's just really hard. um, and I think that also all of these very difficult things that are coming up are being required of all of us, and it's part of this human evolution path right now to higher consciousness, because right now it is through typically suffering that people will actually change, and that we will actually, finally be like, okay, I'm in enough pain that, or I have this really severe health issue that I have to change my diet, or I have to do XYZ. And unfortunately, sometimes it has to get to that point where it's like severe before we listen. And so sometimes we wait until our partner is like, I want a divorce, and we have to hear these really hard things. And those are our wake up calls. And so life can change on a dime, right? Just like all these storms that keep blowing in everywhere. And we have to be prepared, and it's really hard. But a couple of things that have been coming across my field lately, and maybe you found them too. I've been sharing some videos of some mystics, some seers, some seekers. If you ever want to, know of some of the people I follow, please reach out, and I'd be happy to share some of this community in these videos with you. There's so many brilliant minds out there. A couple of my favorites right now are Zach Bush. I don't know if he goes by Zachary, Zach Bush, and Richard Rudd. So I've been really enjoying interviews with them. But anyway, there's so many, and of course I follow a ton of astrology videos all the time as well. But um, anyway, I've been listening and thinking a lot about contemplation and taking pauses. This is something Richard Rudd talks about a lot. And it's just one of those things where we can get so busy and so caught up in life, and we forget to just take that time to it's again, we could call it meditation, where we just go sit and we breathe for 3 minutes. We're gazing at the trees just swaying in the wind, or, whatever. We're just gazing at the sky, the blue sky, or the clouds, whatever it may be. Um, and really just trying to clear our mind. Obviously that is a way to meditate, but I think we get caught up on these words, and a lot of people get triggered by them. So, just taking time to pause and taking time to contemplate about triggers. So, I was having some triggers around relationships, which, I think is, like I said, obviously coming up for a lot of people. And it happened for me yesterday with one situation where, um, basically, a lot of times we have an expectation, right? That somebody we would like to, communicate with us in a specific way, or maybe we're hoping that they'll say something in the way that would make us feel loved, or respond in the way that we would do it. But of course, other people are not us. And, we all know about expectations. However, that's easier said than done. And, still when somebody's a friend or a family member, I think it's okay to have expectations, or it's normal, is what I'm saying. And we're going to. So, the gift is to look at that trigger and go, okay, what is going on, and and uncovering and looking at these things on a deeper level. And like for me, I realized I'd reached out to somebody, and then they were like, I'm fine. And later on, I was like, oh, that's right. When somebody says I'm fine, they're not doing good. I'm fine is not good. I mean, I, I'm not a counselor, but this is what I hear from the experts, and I'm gonna have to agree with it. And it was like, okay, I know this person's been through a lot of trauma, and this is their trauma response. So, sometimes just taking that moment to really contemplate, okay, why am I feeling so hurt? Because it's so easy for us to look at, um, all these different things. And like for me, uh, one of my things that I have to really work on in the four agreements is to not take things personally. And, that may be one of the big ones for you, but it's, one of my lifelong struggles that, I mean, even though I have great awareness around it now, and so because of awareness, I can shift through it really quickly, and I can go, oh, that's me taking it personally when I don't need to. Does that mean that it still isn't something that I have to mull over for some time? Right. Yeah. I'm going to have to. So it's this contemplative effort of going, okay, I'm feeling sad about this, or I'm feeling like this person doesn't care, or they don't like me, or, I'm questioning, all these different things, when it's like, really, um, it's not even about me, and they're going through whatever they're going through, and they're not reaching out, and that's okay because that's their path. I mean, that would be the other invitation though, is that I would say is that, and I've had a couple of friends that I've been talking to this about, is like, hey, when you're going through a hard time, even if you feel like you can't tell me what it is, like just say, will you send me some prayers? And that's something that I've really been working on the last 5 years, where I just started to be like, hey, please send me prayers. And maybe I'm not always ready to talk about it. And so, but if somebody says, can you please pray for me? Then I can do that, right? I mean, if I have the energy and unless I'm depressed or have no strength or energy, which in that case, that's okay too. When I do feel better, then I can. But anyway, we can ask, and we want to often ask multiple people. I've talked about this in videos before, but it's always good to not rely on just one person to be like, will you pray for me? And think that that person's going to be able to respond or send the energy when you need it, because maybe they're available emotionally and maybe they're not. So, reach out to everybody if you're really struggling, because people care and people want to know. And I get it that most of us don't want to talk about our problems when it's a problem. So, the other thing is, I just really want to invite everybody to really spend time checking in with themselves about a yes or a no. We get so much information all the time. We're just inundated with invitations, and whether it's to social events, whether it's to networking events, whether it's to family events, whether it's to, anything at all, right? And obviously, some things are going to require our attention, and some things are obviously an exciting, definite yes, and you don't have to really contemplate, right? But other times it's like, if there's a little bit of a gnawing, do I need to think about this, or do I really have time, or oh, I kind of been spending a lot of money lately. Am I ready to join this program? You know, take that time to meditate. And sometimes it's, that going within and just quieting the mind and getting into, kind of the heart, or maybe you feel things more in your solar plexus, wherever that may be, and just kind of checking in. Maybe it's even in your head in the crown chakra, wherever it may be. It's, you and your higher self, and checking in with that energy and just really going, okay, is this a yes? And sometimes initially something can be a yes, and then sometimes things shift and they're a no. And then you have to go and you have to tell your friends or your family or your community, hey, I was going to do this, but it doesn't feel in alignment anymore, and I don't know why. Or maybe you do know why, but maybe you don't. But a lot of times it's like, it's just not aligned, and you don't have to have a reason. But when you can go from that space, then you can make a more enlightened decision, and you'll feel better about where you're spending your time and your energy, because your time and your energy are the most precious thing you have. So that's why everybody wants it. Okay. um and yeah, it's everything is just, time and life is so precious. And just back to the wake up calls, we're all going to be seeing more of that, whether it's with relationships, whether it's with jobs, whether it's with health, whether it's with wealth, or not feeling of the wealth. There's going to be triggers for all of us in the next, months to year. I mean, that's just part of life, but also, like, this world is hugely changing. We're going to go through some massive shifts, and I think massive changes in the next couple years. And I think it's going to rock our world a little bit. So I don't think we have to be scared. I'm not saying this to frighten anybody. And I surely hope that you feel and know that, like, honestly, this is for the good for everybody. Like, I'm excited about the future. Like, yeah, I'm sad that a lot of people are going to go through pain. But also, like, if you've been doing the work, or if you choose to do the work now, and you face your shadows and you go within and you listen to yourself more and you take that time, the easier it's going to be. So just keep getting more clear with yourself and take more time for yourself and trust yourself more. And if you need my support, I'd love to help you in any way that I can. In any of my modalities, I'm here for you. You can go to my website, www.blueheronholistichealth.com. So yeah, on that final note about me, I did just change my name. I have not legally changed it. So you'll still be seeing Tanya in certain, places where I haven't shifted everything yet. But basically, I have decided to take on a balanced name, and this is through the Cobblearian system, which is basically creating a balanced name based off of numerology. And so this name helps me to live in accordance with my mission. And so I am here to be a spiritual teacher, and that is my mission. Karenna Astor is a name that I chose from a list of different names that feels very aligned for me and my soul and this soul's path that I've chosen. And I just feel a lot more aligned. And I've just been noticing since I've just started sharing this name over the last few months with clients and friends and family, um, greater alignment and confidence and all the things. And so anyway, if you want to know more about that system, reach out. I'm happy to share with you a link so you can check out your name as well. But that's it. So yeah, I'll be changing everything in the near future. And if you call me Tanya, I'm not going to be offended. I'm still Tanya. I'm still Karenna. I'm the same person. Nothing's changed except for a name. Um, and it's kind of exciting, really, because it's again just me in my more aligned form. So anyway, thank you again for watching this, and let me know what you liked about this. Please share this with somebody. Please give this a like. Please comment. Yeah, if this has been impactful for you, pass this along. People need this message. Check out my other videos. And as always, again, I appreciate you. Take good care of yourself and have a wonderful week. And I will see you next week, if not sooner. All right. Bye bye for now.